Shalom. Most High in Christ, bless. Happy Sabbath to you, your families, and your loved ones. All right, sending a happy Sabbath out to each and every one of you that's watching this class, whether you're catching it on the live or on the replay. Blessings to you and your families. All praises. We're going to get straight into it. The image that speaks, technology, and the beast. Again, the image that speaks, technology, and the beast. All right, just make sure we go down the audio before we proceed. Make sure we are on the up and up. Make sure we sounding good. We sounding A-OK. All right, all praises. Sending a special shout out to TOC Guyana, TOC Florida. All right, TOC New York. All praises. We're about to get into it. All right, we good? Oh, okay. Okay, we good? All right, all praises. All right, let's get into it. So, the image that speaks, technology, and the beast. Now, what we must understand is that the Most High warned us that evil inventions would be created. All right? I don't want you to think that because man, have set in their heart to do these things, that the Most High is not behind it. I don't want you to think that. I don't want you to think that way. All right? Let's get Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 29.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 29.
Uh-huh.
Lo, this only have I found.
This only have I found.
That God hath made man.
That God hath made man. So, in other words, God hath created man. Come on.
Upright.
He hath created man upright. And when it says man here, he's talking about mankind. Okay, mankind. Read on.
But they have sought out many inventions.
But mankind has sought out many inventions. All right. So, back then, there was different forms of technology. Right? And witchcraft as well. All right? Working with left-hand spirits. They have now learned how to wield those same spirits, but in different ways. Today, there's different technology, different scientific researches that are being done, but a lot of it is being used on the left-hand side. All right? It's not being used for good, it's being used for evil purposes. So read it again.
Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions.
But they have sought out many inventions, okay? Many inventions. Give me Romans 9 and 19.
Romans chapter 9 and verse 19. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will?
Who have resisted his?
His will.
What does that mean? Who has resisted his will? Everything you see happening on the earth, it's going by the will of God. I don't want you to think that, whatever the Edomites are doing, they're going against God. No. Read that again. Watch this. Listen very closely.
Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will?
Can anyone resist the will of God? No. Because you're not stronger than the Lord. No nation. I don't care what nation you're from. You cannot resist the will of God. All right? Let's get Revelation 17 and verse 17. Revelation chapter 17, verse 17. So we're just laying the premise for you to show you something.
Revelation chapter 17 and verse 17. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will.
Oh, so the Most High puts in the hearts of men to fulfill what?
His will.
Oh. So even the things that, when we were in the Christian church, they would say, oh, the devil is a bad man. The devil bad, boy. He's a bad guy. He's just doing all the things according to his will. No. Okay? What you're seeing being played out is according to the Lord's will. He has written this script from the back to the front, front to the back. You're just seeing it play out in real time. Okay, so I don't want anyone to think that what you're seeing. So even though man have sought out evil inventions, all of it is according to what? To his what? To his will. All of it. Every evil invention you see, but there's a purpose behind it. Don't be so simplistic in your thinking like, oh my gosh, why would the Lord allow the creation of certain things that are, evil and that have a negative connotation? Think a little higher. All right? The Lord has systems in place that punishes evil. Like, in order for his wrath and his judgment to be justified, certain persons have to do certain things that would now gain them the justification for the Lord's wrath. I'll get into that another time, but that's just to get your mind going. Every judgment that the Lord has, it must be justified because the Lord is sovereign. He's not going to give a judgment on something that is not justified. So he has put it in their hearts to fulfill his will. All of it is his will. Good. So now, when it says, go back to Ecclesiastes 7:29 for me, please. Let me just break that down a little bit more before we move on.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 29. Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions.
Okay, good. So it says sought out, meaning intentional pursuit. Okay, so this is intentional. All of the things that, now what we're covering is the arm of the beast that deals with technology. Okay? Yes, technology is something that can be used for beneficial reasons, but you have to understand the bulk of technology right now is being used for other purposes. And the end game of it is not something good. The end game of it is not something for your benefit. The end game of technology, of where they're heading and where they want to go, it is not for your benefit. It is not for your sustenance. It is not for anything for your livelihood. Let's put it that way. Okay? Can technology benefit us? Yes. People are watching right now, just like you are right now. You're watching this class via the internet, via whatever technological device that you have. It may be a laptop, it may be a cell phone, it may be a TV screen. So, yes, we can use technology in certain beneficial areas, but understand this. Were we able to have classes back then without phones and tablets and TVs? Absolutely. So don't say, well, oh, it's absolute must, but it can help to benefit how far you take the word, yes. And you can cross borders and you can transcend beyond geographical locations and regions. Absolutely. More than you would having to travel by ship, because the apostles had to do what? When they went on their missions, what they had to do? Travel by what? By ships, of course. And send letters. Like when Paul wrote letters, he had to send letters. That would take a long time to get there. Now you could just flip on the internet, get classes right here. So yes, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that technology cannot be used to some advantage. It can. But you have to understand it was not created and it's not being wielded in the direction that will be for your benefit. So don't think technology is here in its primary reason to be your friend. That's not its primary thing. There are benefits, yes, but that's not the primary thing. Good. So sought out means it's intentional. All right? It says many what? Sought out many inventions, meaning the expansion. Okay? The advancements. This many here would transcend beyond centuries to what we have today in 2025. We have now so many different types of inventions that are made. Okay, but it says mankind have sought out these inventions. Okay, so these inventions, they are not neutral by default. Good. Let's get Romans 1 and verse 28. Romans 1 and verse 28, so we can lay a premise for you. Romans chapter 1, verse 28. And we'll come down to verse 30.
Romans chapter 1 and verse 28. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge,
Okay, they did not like to retain God in their knowledge.
God gave them over to a reprobate mind.
God gave them over to a reprobate mind. Because if you read verse 27, it talks about the men leaving the natural use of the woman, burning in their lust one to another, men with men, women with women, right? Receiving the recompense of the error which was meet. Meaning that God, like I mentioned earlier, you might say, well, these evil inventions, why would God allow it? Jump up to verse 27. Why would God allow these evil inventions to come on the scene, right? Read verse 27.
Verse 27. And likewise, also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman,
Leaving the natural use of the woman,
burn in their lust,
burn in their lust,
one toward another,
one toward another, come on.
men with men,
Men with men,
working that which is unseemly,
that which is unsightly and abominable, come on.
and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error,
Receiving the what?
their recompense
The recompense, come on,
of their error,
of the error, what we spoke about earlier, it being justified. Watch this.
which was meat.
Which was?
Which was meat.
Okay, so what does it mean, which was meat? Which was justified. Okay? Which is justified. So, in order for the Lord to justify certain recompenses of certain judgments, what has to also be created other than good? Other than good. What also has to be created for things to be justified and recompenses and judgments to be justified? Class. Evil. That's why in the book of Isaiah 45 says what? I am the Lord who create the light and the darkness, the good and the evil. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Good. Now, what are some, even on that level, some inventions that have been made? Now, you see everybody talking about, for the sisters, they got this thing called the rose, right? The rose. Yeah, the rose. I know the captain wouldn't know about, the captain wouldn't know about that, right? If you look on the internet right now, there's women in the comments talking about the rose. There's men talking about these dolls, these sexual dolls that you could use to. So now they've left the natural use of the woman. And technology has said now you don't need a woman. You don't need to procreate. You don't need a man. All you need is your rose. And the sisters online talking about, man, I need more batteries for my rose. It's talking about the vibrational device that the women use to pleasure themselves, if you're not sure what I'm speaking about. Now, I'm sorry to burst your bubble for all those sisters who thought these sex toys is something to just enhance the sexual experience between you and your spouse. You got to toss them things out of there. Those inventions are not natural things. Those inventions were made because now that arm of the beast that controls the technology wants you to do what? Leave the natural use of the woman. And anything that takes you away from the natural use of what God intended is not natural, and thus you must toss it out. I know some of you brothers who say, man, I can't get a Robotech Guac 5000. I don't need a woman. I just need that Robotech Guac 5000. That's all I need. Because now we have, believe it or not, an age of incels. You know what an incel is? Nobody knows what an incel is? Let me put you on again. An incel now, you have a contingent of men, Captain. Believe it or not, this is a very huge, large, growing contingent, especially in the Americas, where it's called involuntary celibate. An incel. Meaning that what they do is these men, they have said, We don't want women. We don't. All we need is video games, movies, snacks, and a sex doll. And they stay indoors in their mother's basements all day. With all the lotion and lube you could find and think about, all the cheesy hands, all the... Yeah, if you go on the forums, like Reddit, Boxden, all these different forums, you would see these incels are commenting and they're saying, right? Even in news, they've covered it, that there's a growing trend of young adults today that relationships are on the decline. And all of these things like the podcasts that men going against women and women against men has now grown a generation where men don't want women anymore. Women don't want men anymore. The men just want their video games and their sex toys or sex dolls, and the women just want their rose and their batteries and to call themselves what? What do you call that? A working woman who's like high corporate, or they want a boss babe. I just want to be a boss babe and have my batteries with my rose. What has caused this? That arm of the beast that now takes over the natural use of the man, natural use of the woman, right? And so now procreation is on the decline. Wait, did our Prime Minister here say that births are on the decline? I think he said that recently. He said that, listen, he need more procreation to happen because the birth rate has decreased. Right? So what I'm saying is that arm of technology, it was not meant for the children of Israel to thrive and to sustain and to enlarge. It really came so that you don't enlarge, you don't thrive, you don't need the natural use of each other anymore. You don't like women anymore. You don't like men anymore. You like aloneness, which is against the scriptures, by the way. The scripture says to do what? Gather yourselves together. So that arm of technology. I've heard people on the internet say, all I want in life, a good paying job, to come home to be alone by myself, and Wi-Fi. That's sad. That is a sad, but it's the reality of our people today, right? So give me verse 28 again.
Verse 28. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge.
Because understand that the beast, one of its purposes is to get God out of your knowledge and replace it with something else. Read on.
God gave them over to a reprobate mind.
So the Lord now delivered them up to a reprobate mind. That's why you have a large contingent of persons who are now into what I just mentioned earlier. Read on.
To those things which are not convenient.
To do the things which are not convenient. Read on.
Being filled with all unrighteousness.
Being filled with so much unrighteousness. Come on.
Fornication.
Wickedness. Covetousness. Come on. Maliciousness.
Full of envy.
Murders.
Debate. Deceit.
Read on.
Malignity.
Read on.
Whisperers.
Read
backbiters.
on.
Haters of God. Despiteful. Proud. Boasters. Inventors of evil things.
Whoa! Inventors of evil what?
Evil things.
Inventors of evil things. This is going into that arm of technology where when it comes to the inventions of these things, it is primarily to get you to stray away from the originality of what God created. It's to get you away from what is natural, what the Lord deems as what he created to be the natural flow of order. Read on.
Disobedient to parents.
Good. Disobedient to parents. Read on. Because I'm showing you the end game of technology. Now listen, how many of you have young children? And, you know, maybe daddy's working, mommy's working, and a lot of times to just get some relief, what you allow your children to do? Who could tell me? You allow your children to do what? Watch what? TV. Watch the tablet. Hey, here's a tablet. Go watch a tablet. Here's a TV. Go watch the TV. Right? Mommy got something to do. Daddy got something to do. So you stick them in front of the TV, right? And the technology that you think is so normalized, it's such a a comfort to have something that could mind the children while you do what you need to do as you come home from work, right? You don't realize what your children are absorbing and what they are intaking are things that the same beast has pre-programmed for them to start being disobedient against their parents. Let me tell you something, Cap. A couple years ago, they just realized that Peppa Pig, this famous cartoon that little children and toddlers love to watch, was getting the children to actually go against their parents, because what they were subtly teaching the children is you can challenge your parents. When your parents tell you something, you can say, oh no, mommy, I don't want that. And then now you have Edomite programming. It's very, very like jovial and they're all smiles and listen closely to what they're telling the children. You have your own voice. Tell mommy and oh yeah, tell mommy and daddy that you don't want to do that. You want to do this. And so now your children are like, you tell them, go and put your shoes in the room. But mommy, I don't want to put my shoes in the room. You're like, wait, where is this coming? It's coming from the programming that you allow your children to watch. You understand that? But because it's so normalized, you think it's a godsend. You think that this device, this tablet, this TV, this laptop gives me a little ease. Do I agree that, yes, today it's very challenging working full-time jobs? The system is rigged in such a way whereby, you got to work 5 jobs to even make ends meet. You have children, you have all these responsibilities. It feels like you're pulling your hair out like at times. And sometimes the only thing that you have in your arsenal is maybe the tablet or the TV. I get it. But you're going to have to now start making better choices of what you allow your children to watch. Because the system, the beast, that has different arms. One of the arms is technology, and one of the arms that control technology, very subtly, they teach your children values, and they take away their godly morals from them that you try to instill into them, and slowly but surely, their minds are being removed from what is good and being taught to do what is evil, like going against their parents. Do you know how against the Bible that is? That's why the Bible even mentions it right here. It says it right there in, what verse where was that? Verse 30. It says, backbiters, haters of God. Understand, all of this that it's listing out is showing you the end game of what technology will eventually cause persons to do once you wholly give into it. So read verse 30 again for me. I'm showing you the end game. Watch this.
Backbiters.
Backbiters.
Haters of God.
Come on.
Despiteful.
No, haters of God. How many of you, I'm pretty sure you've come across so many content of people that hate God, going against God, videos of atheists trying to debunk the Bible, trying to debunk the Israelites, trying to debunk. You see Christianity trying to debunk. Now they've seen the Israelites on the streets. And so now their job is to now try and debunk the truth. All of technology is feeding you that information. And guess what? A lot of you come across it, and believe it or not, the first thing that somebody do when they come into the truth is what? They go where? They go where to validate to see if it's true. Mind you, you could meet a brother or a sister on the street, read the Bible for them word for word, and they're going to tell you, nah, I got to go back and check that. What they really saying? I got to go where? Okay, to the church, but when I say I got to do my own research, what are they really saying? I got to go do it where?
Online.
All right, there you go. I got to go online, and what are they going to look for? What are they going to look for? What's the first thing that's going to pop up in the Google search results? Christianity. You understand? So what I'm trying to show you is this. It says backbiters, haters of God. Those haters of God also includes Christianity, not just atheists. Because haters of God, let me tell you something. If you're going to say to me, after you've learned about this truth, you're going back to church on Sunday, you're a hater of God. You hate his laws. If you're going to hear this Bible come out and says, yo, you got to wear your fringes, you got to keep the feast days, you got to stop eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster, and you're going to say to me, well, that's your interpretation. I'm going to continue doing it. You're a hater of God because we just read it for you verbatim. It says God says not to do those things. But you say, I got to find some wiggle room around it. You're a hater of God. What taught you to do that? Right? A lot of times it's the things that you're looking at, the things you're consuming, the things that you're watching, the things that you come across online. It's not good. But technology allows it for you to have access to those things that would help you go against God, that would help you be a hater of God. And that's why Christ said what? What goes into the light of the eye? You got to be cognizant and aware. What goes into your eyelids and goes into your ears, that's the thing that's going to now, shift your spirit into believing what you believe. You understand? Sometimes I'd be wanting to ask some people, where you get that breakdown from? Where you get that understanding from? It's just the things that they're watching. And they will tell you, no, it ain't nothing I'm watching. I just read it for myself. It's what you came across. That's why it's in your spirit. Christ told us that what you come across is going to go in your spirit. No, General, I just read it myself and I was just... No, it's what you're coming across. It's what the scriptures say. Sometimes I would just ask you just to see if you're going to be real. Like, where you learn that? What you learning? Well, just learning, just myself. Right? So now, give me verse 31.
Verse 31. Without understanding, covenant breakers.
It says without understanding. Technology, right? These evil inventions that's mentioned in the verses above, it causes you to leave your natural understanding and now to adopt a different understanding. And now your understanding is that these things are okay. These things are normalized. Now sisters, if you talk to regular sisters in the world and you tell them that using a rose is wrong against God, do you think you would get a lot of sisters wanting to fight you tooth and nail? What's their understanding? Mind you, they would give you a very highfalutin understanding too. They would tell you, well, you're looking at it very unilaterally. What happens is it helps you to increase your, what you call it? Your libido. It helps you to have an open sexual, what do you call that word? What's that word? Aura, or it's like, it helps you to have a better sexual experience so that you can learn yourself. You can learn yourself. You can learn what you like, what you don't like, and what you know. And so their understanding has been removed because of the technology that has told them. Now, mind you, who told them about roses? Who told them about that? How did they find out about that? Word of mouth, or the word of mouth also came from the same technological devices. They were online. They saw a commercial for it. They're like, oh, this looks interesting. What is this? This is a rose. Okay, let me try this out. Okay. So technology, its end game is to remove you from the understanding of God. If God says something isn't natural, don't use that thing. Don't partake in that thing. No matter what justification you try to come with. That technology didn't come here to sustain us as a people. It came to remove your understanding from the knowledge of what is natural of God. I need you to understand that now. Because don't speak from your pleasure. Don't speak from your flesh. Oh, well, I like to use it because... Don't speak from your flesh. You're speaking from the things that you like. You're speaking from the things that you love. Don't speak from the things that you love. Go back to basics. See what the Most High says. If he says it's unnatural, it's unnatural. It doesn't matter what you say or you think. The Lord said, don't use those things. Don't use those things. Good. Give me finish out verse 31. It says, without understanding.
Without natural affection. Implacable. Unmerciful.
Read on.
Who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death.
They're worthy of death. Come on.
Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
So not only people that use those things, but people that like to watch people use those things. Anything that is unnatural, it's not natural, you take pleasure in it, you're worthy of death. Anything that the Lord has created to be something for us to sustain, and you take that thing and you misuse that thing and it's unnatural, right? And you take pleasure in that thing. Or you like to watch people and you get pleasure from watching other people do that thing. It says they're worthy of death and you worthy of death too. Understand that. Good. So you got to understand that evil, it's engineered. These technological evil things. All right. It's not spontaneous sin. All right. These are systems that are designed to take you away from the understanding of what is natural, the understanding of what God said should be. All right. And a reprobate mind, it produces different evil tools. Think about it. When people went to create these tools, these sexual deviant tools, what kind of mind you have to create those things? You got a reprobate mind. All right? So it's not just behavior. It's the invention of things. The evil invention of wicked things. Wicked, evil inventions. All right, let's get the wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 11. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verses 11 to 12.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 11. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles, shall there be a visitation.
A visitation will happen. Come on.
Because in the creature of God, they have become an abomination.
Because in the creature of God, they've become an abomination, meaning that they've used these things to become idols. Read on.
And stumbling blocks to the souls of men.
Stumbling blocks to the souls of men. Usually when you find someone that have an evil invention, and they've created it into an idol, they don't want to separate themselves from it. Usually when you see someone that they just start learning about the truth, you will start to find out the things that they don't want to separate from and they don't want to stop doing. Read on.
And the snare to the feet of the unwise.
Read on.
For the devising of idols.
The devising of idols. And understand this, these evil inventions are also idols. The arm of the technology as well, it's also an idol because people put their trust in it more than the Most High. As a matter of fact, they've removed all knowledge of the Most High and replaced it with technology. Technology is their God. And the inventions that come from technology is their God. Read on.
Was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
Now, anything that you cannot stop doing, right? Any sin, any fleshly thing that you can't stop doing is a what? Is a what? It begins with I. We just read about it. It's an idol. If you can't stop smoking weed, then the weed is a what? An idol. If you can't stop drinking, then that bottle, that liquor is a what? Isn't it funny how they call the alcohol spirits? It says spirits. What's the name of the alcohol? You ingest that thing enough, you're going to start doing and saying things that are absolutely unscrupulous. They say alcohol, or the overabundance of it, when someone says certain things that come from alcohol, it's the things that were already inside of them. There's a saying that goes, Tom is drunk, but Tom ain't no fool. So the things that come out are the things that were there all the time, but the alcohol gave them enough what? Impetus to now bring it out. That's all it is. It's spirits. You got to know it for what it is. Okay? But anything that you cannot stop doing, any fleshly thing, it's an idol. And the Lord says, what? He hates idolatry. Good. Read on.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life.
Good. The invention of idols is the corruption of life. All right? So idols, they're devised. Idolatry evolves with inventions. All right? And what begins as a tool eventually ends up as a snare. Okay? Good. So now let's get the book of Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 8. The book of Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 8.
Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 8. Shall I not in that day, said the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom?
Even destroy the wise men out of Edom. So Edom has some wise men among them. Okay? They're very wise. They're the same ones that do scientific research, and they're paid millions of dollars in grants each year to do different scientific research, but newsflash, it's not for your benefit. They may make it sound like it's going to be beneficial for everyone, but the type of research that they're doing is actually to your demise. Read on.
And understanding out of the mount of Esau.
And understand. So Esau has understanding. All right? He possesses wisdom. He possesses understanding, but it's going to be destroyed for a reason. Okay? Jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out?
How are the things of Esau searched out? What type of things is talking about? What type of things? Wicked inventions. Come on, read on.
How are his hidden things sought up?
How are his hidden things, his hidden plans, his hidden directives that he wants to carry out? How are these things sought up? How will they be sought up? Tell me. Who could tell me? Does anyone know? How are we able to read it? We're reading about it right now. How did the Lord make it available for us to read it? What's that? What's that? Through him, but how? Like, make it practical. If you had to explain to a child. I mean, the soldier made it plain. Go ahead and make it plain. He said what? Through the prophets. The Lord will let you know through the prophets. This is what Esau got planned. This is what he doing behind closed doors. He gonna give you the whole blueprint from front to back, back to front. And he gonna show it to you in plain words. But what many of us do? We say no. Listen, the government would never do such a thing. They would never work hand in hand with the national scientists to do things that will go against our livelihood. They would never. The shot, that thing was good. It was absolutely amazing. Everyone that took it, proud of you. Now, the reports that came out that say everyone that took that, they developed like what you call turbo cancer. A lot of people dropped down that. Oh, heart attacks are on the rise. Because to go back out to work, everyone, not everyone, because you got some persons who said, I wasn't taking that. How many of y'all took that thing? Put up here. Oh. You gotta, let me tell you, if you did take that thing, you have to do several detoxes. It is imperative that you do so. People are getting heart attacks left, right, and center. And also, people are getting what you call turbo cancer. Doctors said they never seen nothing like this before. Nothing like this. Where young people under the age of 30 coming down with colon cancer, pancreatic cancer, and they're like, what's going on here? If you took that thing to go back out to work in 2021, I implore you, General Messiah implores you, please do a series of detoxes. Not just one, not one round, but a series. There's different things you can take. We're going to cover that when we do the other arm of the beast, which deals with the health arm of the beast, things you can take, all right, to cleanse out natural things. Because don't go back to the same institutions that gave you the thing. You can go to the pharmacy. Yeah, well, I would like a detox from you guys, even though you guys, co-sign and vouch for the same medicine that we took. I want to get some more stuff from you that's going to kill me. Are you mad? Don't do that. All right? So, yes, Esau has wise men. They have knowledge. They've made weapons of mass destruction with this knowledge. They have made atomic bombs with this knowledge. They have made ICBM missiles with this knowledge. They have made guns with this knowledge. But all of it, understand, it's going according to the Lord's will, like I mentioned earlier in the class, where we at verse 6. Okay? So those hidden systems, they're going to be revealed, even though they're concealed. Because remember when the CV came out, right? Everyone said, I should put it this way. Everyone believed it came from a wet market over in China, right? Y'all been watching how they uncover and how they unearthed all of the information? Somebody should be in jail for this, but nobody in jail for it. At first, when they kick the story, it's always a monkey did it. It was a monkey. The monkey was in the lab. And he run out the lab, and we was giving him doses of things, and he infected this person and that person, and then it spread everywhere. They always give you that monkey story. That's what they came up with the HIV thing too. They told you it was a monkey. Ebola, they told you it was a monkey. I mean, all of it goes back to the fact that the Most High, yes, he said plagues that's not listed in the book will be invented. But the thing is that what you missed is that they will be invented by man. Evil inventions created by man. They have to give you the monkey story because they're concealing the information for themselves. They don't want you to know. But the Bible shows you through the prophets. Read it again, verse 6.
Verse 6.
Uh-huh.
How are the things of Esau searched out?
Even though they conceal them, the Lord reveals them. Read on.
How are his hidden things sought up?
How are his hidden things? So, and guess what? A lot of times they tell on themselves. A lot of times the information come out by their own whistleblowers. Yes? Absolutely. You got Edomite doctors coming out and speaking and saying, listen, man, we knew from the jump this thing is wrong. But the medical fraternity, they're more powerful than one or two of us, so we had to let it rock. But we went on our own platforms and we spoke out against it. And there's a lot of Edomite doctors that went and blew the whistle and said, we knew something was wrong with this. This thing was made too quickly. It was made too fast. They know. But the medical fraternity, they take what you call a Hippocratic oath. And that oath binds them and swears them to, they must abide by the regulations and all of the auspices under which the medical fraternity operates by. They must abide by it. When you graduate medical school, you must take the Hippocratic oath. How many of you knew that? Yeah, you must. You must take the Hippocratic oath. You must. Okay? Good. So let's get Baruch 3 and 22. Baruch 3 and 22.
Baruch chapter 3 and verse 22. It hath not been heard of in Canaan, neither hath it been seen in Theman.
Come on.
The Agarenes that seek wisdom upon earth,
Read.
the merchants of Miran and of Theman, of the authors of fables,
The authors of fables. Come on.
and searchers out of understanding.
The searchers out of understanding. Come on.
None of these have known the way of wisdom,
None of these have known the ways of wisdom. Come on.
or remember her paths.
Or remembered her paths. Okay, so when it comes to the wisdom of God, right? You got these other nations, they're going with other wisdom. They ain't dealing with the Most High's wisdom. They want you to get another type of information. Right? Like for instance, you remember when the Egyptians in the king's court, in the Pharaoh's court, they were doing black magic? Right? Okay, good. What Moses and Aaron was doing, was that black magic? But wait. What makes it not black magic? They were doing the same thing. What did Moses' staff do? The staff that he had in his hand, what did it do? So it turned into a snake. Okay, what did the black magicians do? They had staffs, right? What did they do? Their staffs turned into what? But you just tell me one was doing black magic, one wasn't. So what makes these guys over here do black magic and these guys over here not?
One was authorized by God, one wasn't.
Okay, one was authorized by the Lord, one wasn't. Okay. Everything that the Lord does, the other nations always try to make a replica of it. Understand this. And the replica of it is made so that the understanding of God is removed, so that you go with their thing and you leave God's thing alone. So to you, it looks like the same thing, and to you, ones and O's, like 1 + 1 will always equal to what? 2. So if you say, wait, over here, it turned into a snake, over here, but this one over here, if it's the same thing, and this one over here look more attractive, I get more benefits with this one, seemingly so. Well, what's the difference? Let me go with this one. Both of them doing the same thing. I'm going to go with this one. But the problem is, when you go with this one, you might be thinking it's the same thing, but it's not authorized by the Lord, and thus now you have now ensnared yourself, and thus now you are now bringing curses upon yourself. It looks the same. Like for instance, Hanukkah. Lights, gifts, treats, food, feasting. It looks almost similar to what they do in what? Christmas. Very similar. One might say, well, hey, if I accept a Hanukkah gift, nothing's wrong with that. But if I accept a Christmas gift, something is wrong with that. But then to someone in the world, they both look the same. What's the difference? Everyone is doing the Christmas. I'm going to do Christmas, but say the reason why I did it was because of Hanukkah. Family. Righteous reasons. The children. Families coming together. They will tell you, same reasons why y'all doing it. I'm doing it for the family, children, feasting. That's the day I get off, 25th of December. Y'all can't tell me I'm wrong. Both of them look the same. What's the difference? You didn't realize this verse. Read it again for me now. 22. Go ahead.
Verse 23.
22.
Verse 22. It hath not been heard of in Canaan, neither hath it been seen in Theman.
So now these Canaanites, these Hamites, when they made these evil inventions, is to remove the wisdom of God and replace it with their own. Read on.
The Agarenes that seek wisdom upon earth,
Come on.
the merchants of Miran
Read.
and of Theman,
Uh-huh.
the authors of fables,
Authors of fables. Come on.
And searchers out of understanding.
And searchers that looking for understanding. Come on.
None of these have known the way of wisdom.
But they ain't known the ways of wisdom, so how you going to learn from them? They don't know the way of wisdom. Why you going to take a replica of something that they created and try to replace it with what the Lord has created? They don't know the ways of wisdom. What do they know the way of? Who could tell me? Begin with the I. They know the way of idolatry. So why would you try to seek a replica of what the Lord has created? Read on.
Or remembering her paths.
Remembering her paths. The Lord's wisdom paths. They ain't gonna know that thing, because back in the garden, he made man what? Upright, 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 upright. But what did man do? What they gonna make? Evil inventions. So if he made man upright, and all these other nations go and make things unto their own understanding, you gonna go learn from them? You gonna go take their things and say, it looks the same. This and this, there's no difference. I'm gonna go with this one. Don't do it. But technology helps you to feel like all of it is the same. Technology, very subtle. All right? Good. So now let's go to Revelation 13. Hit me with verse 11. We're going to read down to verse 14. Revelation chapter 13, verses 11 to 14.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth.
Another beast. So y'all learned about this last week. Another beast coming up out of the earth. Read.
And he had 2 horns like a lamb.
2 horns like a lamb. Come on.
And he spake as a dragon.
And he spake as a dragon. So what is this talking about? You learned this last week. 2 horns like a lamb, but he's speaking as a dragon. 2 horns like a lamb. Okay, so the lamb, who's the Lamb of God? Christ. But it says this thing, it looked like Christ. It looked like what Christ's teaching. It looked like what Christ, the doctrine that he bringing. It looks like it. But what we just learned that the other nations are good at doing. We just learned it. Thank you. What's the word? Call that word? Replicating. So they know how to make good replicas. It looked like what Christ's teaching. It looked like the doctrine of the Bible. But it ain't. But he spake as a what? Reader. He spake as a what?
As a dragon.
As a dragon. What does it mean that he spake as a dragon? Who's the red dragon of the earth? Esau. What doctrine did he create? Christianity. What does it mean to speak as a dragon? It means to speak all of the things that doctrine comes with, but it sounds so convincing. But that ain't the best part. Read on. He spake as a dragon. That ain't the best part.
And he exerciseth all the power.
All of the power. Come on.
Of the first beast before him.
Read on.
And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast.
To worship the first. And you know what that first beast, when you read up that beast, that first beast was what? The one that got wounded and got healed. The one that got wounded and got healed. Financial system of the earth. Good. Read on, verse 13.
And causeth them whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders. So that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
In the sight of men. Now, that fire that he make to come down on the earth in the sight of men is talking about the things that the Christianity church does to fool you into thinking that the things that they do, like spiritual deliverance and all of these things they do on stage, that it's true, but it's really not. It says they do great wonders. Okay? It's false miracles. Now, also this is going into that fire, that false fire coming down from the heavens. Who know about Project Bluebeam? Does anyone know about Project? Now look this up. For those of you that's watching live right now, go on Google and type in Project Blue Beam. Now what they are planning to do, for those of you that don't know, they're planning to test out, and this is going to look real. this projection that will project in the sky. And this projection of Jesus Christ, a white Jesus, right? Coming, it's like a holographic image of Christ and the angels, but it's going to be a white Jesus. A lot of people going to believe that is Jesus coming back. Project Blue Beam. They've been testing it out for some years, and they're perfecting it. And a lot of people going to get duped into it, right? They're going to do a little flash. People going to be like, whoa, I saw Jesus in the sky. Wow, white Jesus is real. So look out for that. Project Bluebeam. They're going to fool a lot of people. Give me verse 14. So part of the technology. Now we're talking about the technological arm, right? The arm of religion uses the technology as well. Okay? Read verse 14.
Verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth.
You're going to fool a lot of persons who believe in Christianity. Read on.
By the means of those miracles.
Those false miracles. Come on.
Which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
Which he had power to do. What's the power that's talking about there? What's the power? What gave Christianity the power to do some of these false miracles? Who could tell me? What's the power? Which he had power to do. Yeah. What's the power? Technology. Thank you, my brother. So it says, which he had the power to. The power enables Christianity to do a lot of false things. Read on.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live.
Good, that they should make an image to the beast. An image. Of course, as you know, that image, all right, of Caesar Borgia. Now, today, with the technology that they could use, that technology is now being used in such a way that Christianity is now pushed in every four corners of the earth, all right? And it now also makes you believe that, you know, the financial system, you know, gain is godliness. And you can see it being pushed on the internet. You're going to see a lot more instances of when you go on Instagram and Facebook, these technological platforms that many of you are on, you're going to be seeing more and more of these pastors with these antics. Close the doors. Close the doors. Technology. What the pastor told the lady? He said, I ain't tell you bring 12,000. What was it? She brought 12,000 and he wanted 20? What was it? I don't remember. She brought 1,200? She brought 1,200. He said, I didn't tell you bring 1,200. She brought 2. Oh, he wanted 2,000, and she brought 1,200. Technology is gonna show you these things. All right. Give me verse 15.
Verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
So the power, that technology, it gives life to the image. It makes it real. It brings it live and direct in your front room, in your living room, in your bedroom, on your tablet, on your TVs, on your projector screens. It brings it live and direct. All right? That power to give life to it. That life is talking about that thing looking real. Come on.
That the image of the beast should both speak.
Come on.
And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Good. So now remember, images don't speak naturally, right? So now speech requires things like what? Transmission, networks, signals, platforms, all right? Which eventually we're going to go into forced mandates, all right? Commerce, technology, both of them will go hand in hand, all right? You're going to see things coming on stream like social monitoring, social credit scores, controlled living through technology, submission and compliance, all right? Or face death if you don't submit and comply. So now, for those of you that don't know, over in China, they have social credit scores, and if you speak against the Chinese government, you get points deducted from your social credit score, and so you cannot partake in certain things in society. They're going into also monitoring how much electricity you use on a month-to-month basis,
And eventually, like you've heard in classes before that we brought out, they're going to give you, based on your social stratosphere, where you fall in your tax bracket, a certain allotment of electricity every month. All right? So you're going to be very heavily monitored. Cars are not going to be using petrol and gasoline. Eventually, they're going to be all electric. These electric cars will be controlled by the state, of course. If you have social credit score points down, your car will not turn on. You won't be able to partake by going on the bus, and until you clear up these things, until you go and get it rectified. But for some of you who in the truth, it will turn into what? You not being able to use these things, persecution, because if you out here speaking the truth and they say what you're speaking goes against state policy, state terms and agreements, they deem you as a threat to national security, then you won't be able to partake in certain things in society by default. And thus begins the persecution of the saints. You're going to be heavily censored. You're going to be heavily monitored. And now, you think that's far away? Let me tell you something. They just made the announcement that you're coming for a visa down in Bridgetown, Barbados. They want to see your social media accounts. All of them. Every one of them. And you're going to think you're going to be smart and not show them your social media pages. They're going to find it. Because they got the FBI working on all. Listen, you think when you open a web page in incognito mode, it's not being monitored? They think they're not being monitored. They monitor everything. There's something called keystroke login that they're now able to do virtually. No, back in the day, to log your keystrokes, you literally had to install something on the computer itself. A program on the computer itself. For those of you that did coding and stuff like that back in the day, I did coding and all those visual basic languages for computers. That's mumbo jumbo to some of you. But nonetheless, what I'm saying is this. Back then, you needed to install something on the computer to log your keystrokes. To log the keystrokes mean every key that's pressed on your keyboard is recorded into a program. Your passwords, your search bars and the things you'd be looking up on Google, everything. Now, today, they're able to do it just based on some of the sites you visit. They install tertiary party things on your computer without you knowing. Sometimes you on your computer, you see something flash up quick on your screen, boop, and it ran a code, it ran an exe file you ran a script that it self-installs, self-replicates, and it embeds itself so far in your computer's registry that even if you did a Norton's antivirus clean sweep, that thing ain't coming off. It's embedded. These hackers, they know how to embed it in the registry of your computer. So it logs all of your computer keystrokes, it logs all of your passwords, it logs all of your information, all of your credit card. How you think every so often you look at the news, for those of you that look at the news, you hear, oh, there's been a breach with either Google, Yahoo, or one of the major conglomerates of a password breach. How you think there was a password breach? Hackers hack into the mainframe systems of these companies, and guess what they do with your passwords that you think is so secure? Say it again for me, Brother Aitan. They sell them, and they sell them in batches for millions. And sometimes they do it so silently that Google is up to their neck with threats, and they have to silently give the money to the hackers. And y'all don't know nothing about it because they paid off that money so fast because they're holding things ransom. And you know, when you have these ransom hackers, they did that to National Bank here. And a lot of people didn't realize they did that to National Bank here, but they didn't want to cause a big flurry and a big commotion, so they just kept it under wraps. And when hackers hold something ransom, Everything is tied up. Nothing going, nothing coming. But they're man-made technological systems. If it can be made, it can be broken. Again, if it can be made, it can be broken. So don't put your faith into that arm of technology, thinking that it's so robust, it's so safe, it's there. All right? So monitoring. They can monitor you from where you are. You know, my wife, sometimes I say, babe, you being a little too extra, but she's right. She's absolutely right. She's like, listen, if you have any devices that have cameras, they can be tapped into. You have laptops that have webcams, they can stay from where they are and log into remotely and access your web camera. Do you know how just disturbing that is? Like, I remember coming across this. Now, the dark web, that's a whole nother. Listen, the dark web is a whole nother level. I don't even want to get into that. There's something called the dark web. It cannot be accessed via the regular websites that you use or the web browser. You have to get a special browser. You understand that? To access that. And so now, on that dark web is some wild things. There's human trafficking going on there for the highest bidder. Okay? There's organ harvesting things you could buy on there. There's some very wild things happening on the dark web. You could see live executions on the dark web. I don't want to get into too much of that stuff, but what I'm saying is this. When it comes to what you think is so secure, even your very laptop. I remember years ago, there's this site that have about 220,000 links. And guess what those 220,000? Cameras that you can log into. Just by clicking the link, it takes you to someone's bedroom. It takes you to, now, all the open-ended cameras that are around the world, they can log into. So for instance, this says there's cameras down Port Zante. There's servers that could log into those cameras down at Port Zante. Or if you're in Baltimore, down by the harbor, they can log in there. If you're on the, you're in what you call Grand Central Park, they can log in there. And you can see everything. Right? So even the computer scientists would tell you, yeah, when you get a laptop, you better cover that with black tape. How many of y'all will cover your laptop with black tape? Okay, Brother Aitan. Okay, cool. None of y'all, oh, so y'all didn't know about, y'all didn't realize they're watching y'all. Okay, here's another scary thought. How many of you have smart TVs? Okay, you have smart TVs. How many of you know that through your smart television, they can listen to your conversations? How many of you know that? You don't know that? Oh, okay. You better know now. If you didn't know then, you know now. Smart TVs that can, connect to the internet. Good. A smart TV can listen to your conversation. Understand this. It all goes into their monitoring that they're doing. They have to know how to socially engineer you. They must know what you're talking about, what you're buying, what you're looking at, what you're spending time at looking. I used to tell my wife, like, listen, I don't care if they know what I'm looking at because I'm only looking at truth things and things for work anyway. So they're going to be bored. They're going to be bored as hell watching my thing, right? But for other people who, they're doing God knows what. They looking, they're monitoring. They have all your passwords. They have all your credit card information. You think your credit card information that when you go on a site and it says store card info for next time, and it says card securely saved. You really think it's secure? It's on a server. You want to tell me? Listen, I used to work back in the day for this place called net.kn. Net.kn is, well, it was, all right, internet provider service for St. Kitts, okay? And so I used to work there part-time. And so me and my cousin, we would have the night shift. Sometimes we would work overnight, like into the morning. And sometimes what we would do is, because we don't want to be at work, we would just kind of put in the numbers before and then go out to the club. And then hope the boss didn't come in while we were out on the shift, right? And so out one night, we out to this place called Morgan Heights. That's before some of your time. We out to Morgan Heights, and so we get a phone call. Like, we had pages around that time. And so both our pages going off, and it's the office. And we like, wait, this never happened before since we work in there like 2 years. This never happened before, ever. We had this thing down to a science. We come to work at 12 in the night. We fill out all the numbers. This is just dummy numbers that we put in. We got to report all the numbers for all the sites, for all of the potential password breaches. But we just put in dummy numbers to make it look like we were there. Because every hour you got to do it. Every hour the value changes, so every hour you got to put it in. So we would just, and so we getting pages. We like, wait, what's going on? And so we jump in the car. We head by the office. The boss is there. Woo! We got to explain to him now why we ain't even in the office. He says, there's been a big problem. There's been a big breach. And for those of you that don't know or remember, around this time, everyone in St. Kitts had a .kn email address. Like, for instance, it would be, Kevin.James at, what you call that? Something.kn. That was the email address. You remember those KN? The place where I worked was the place that stored all of that information. And so he's sitting in the chair, one leg over the other. And we know when he leg placed over the other, we know it's not good. It's not, what he about to say is not good. He said, there's been a breach. And so now all of the information has been compromised. And so you two are to blame. We're like, what? And so he shows a long paper. Long. All these names of accounts and their passwords, their information. Now, of course, that information is confidential. But that was the first time that I realized they're not just stored in a cloud somewhere. They're literally on a hard drive. All of your information that you think is so secure that only you have access to, the companies that host these things, these sites and these servers, all of it is there. And your information is logged. Yes, now, of course, technology has increased since 2000, the year 2000, of course, since that time. But it ain't so much different in terms of where your information is stored. It's just stored now, what you call, in the cloud. And they have access to it. So don't feel monitoring you is hard. Don't feel social engineering will be difficult for them. They have all of your information, all of your credit card information, all of your password information, all of the sites that you visit to, all of your Google search information, all of it is logged somewhere. The internet is a very vast place, yes, but don't get lost in the sauce. It's there. Okay? Give me Proverbs 18 and 21. I said, what is this? All of this information is just there?
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Death and life is in the power of the
tongue.
Come on.
And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
They that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So now, the other nations, they understand this about you. We read about that in Wisdom of Solomon, how their plan is to remove you from the Lord's knowledge and bring you into their knowledge. All right? So now, they understand this principle right here, that death and life are in the power of the tongue. And in order to influence you, they have to change what your tongue speaks. They have to change or influence you. What's the best way to influence the people? Through technology. Okay? They have to now get you speaking different, thinking different. That's why many of you who watch certain things, it's very hard for you to get out of that mentality. Because the other nations, they understand that principle. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. Right? Let's get Judith 5:20. Judith in the Apocrypha, chapter 5 and verse 20. Judith 5 and verse 20. Judith chapter 5 verse 20.
Judith chapter 5 verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people,
If there be any error against God's chosen people, the Israelites, read.
and they sin against God,
And they sin and they transgress against the Lord or speak things that are against God's word. Read on.
let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
Let us consider this shall be their ruin. So the other nations know this about you. If they get you to go against your God and his laws, this will be your ruin. Read on.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
And we shall overcome them. So the other nations know. In order to overcome God's chosen people, you basically remove God's knowledge from them, remove them from any instance of God's understanding, and now you're able to what? Overcome them. You understand? Because they understand, like we said, death and life are in the power of the what? And if we could get you to speak things that are not life but are death, if we could get you to believe things that are not life but death, if we could get you to be convinced of things that are contrary via the technology, then we have succeeded against God's children. Read on, verse 21.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation,
Uh-huh.
let my Lord now pass by.
So if there be no sin in these people, now let my Lord pass by. Come on.
Lest their Lord defend them.
Lest their Lord defend them. Because once you're keeping God's laws, once you're in alignment with the Lord's commandments, the Lord will defend you. Read on.
And their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
So the other nations know there would be a reproach before all the world if, guess what? If y'all keeping God's laws. But we're going to use technology to get you to stray so far from God's laws, get the women to hate the men and use roses and just replenish their vibrator batteries, get the men to be incels and just use sex dolls or other means of pleasuring themselves, not needing women anymore, like Romans mentions about going against the natural use of the man and the woman. If we could get you to believe that Jesus is a white man based on all of the things you see in the media, all of the things you see on TV, all of the things you see on the internet, and we could get you to believe that Christianity is the way to go, if we could get you to believe that, then there will be error in you. You will speak things against the truth, and we will overcome you. Y'all see how destructive this arm of technology is? It's very destructive. And because it's so normalized. I was going over to Nevis one day to work on the ferry. And I sat down on the ferry, and I'm looking at everyone like, wait, this real? Everybody just like this. For the whole ride over, everybody face just in the phone, either scrolling, type it, whatever. And I'm the only one, I'm just sitting there like this. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, this can't be real. This is the life that we're living right now, whereby there's something called, what's the name? there is something called selective. What's the name of it? Selective reality. I can't remember the exact name. I just came across it as well. Where someone is there, but they're not really there. Like, for instance, for those of you who have spouses, you're speaking to your spouse and you're engaging in a conversation with them and they're on their device and you're speaking to them. So, babe, I wanted to talk to you about XYZ. Uh-huh. Yeah, I really think that when it comes to, this thing, we need to start making some preparations to, and they're like, uh-huh. So it's like the person is there, but they're not really there. A lot of our people are affected by that right now, where they're present, but they're not there. And so technology has now taken over our households, our families. Families don't sit down to eat together once like they used to. And if they do sit down at the table, everyone is on their phones. Everyone is just into whatever they're watching. And if you was to just exit out of that picture, look at the picture from outside the window, and look at it, it would look like a very sad picture. So what you need to do, Israel, is learn how to use technology for the right things, yes, but learn how to give technology a break. Really, get outside, feel the sun, go for a walk, put down the devices. Take your children away from watching all of this, highly overstimulated. We're a highly stimulated society today, whereby it's just you're so overstimulated that the stimulation doesn't even stimulate you anymore. So it's you gotta one more reel before bed, one more short, one more YouTube short before bed, one more. I just need one more. You keep scroll, one more. You know what you're doing to your hypothalamus? Your hypothalamus is getting worn out that nothing excites you anymore. There's no real, true, genuine feelings of true emotions anymore. You're just numb and you're just kind of dead. Because your hypothalamus being just bombarded on a daily basis, you just scroll. And you don't realize it's killing you mentally, physically. I ain't even get into the AI stuff yet, that part of the technology that's fooling our people. Israel, the Bible says in the book of Proverbs, it is for a king to search out a matter. Do you know, based on 2022, the AI videos that were coming on stream at that time is now totally different to what you see today? They showed a side-by-side comparison of Will Smith eating a burger back in 2022 on AI. And it looks so distinctly different. It looks like crap. Compared to today, you have to ask yourself today, is this real? Is this, how many of you AI trick you once? Of course. But brothers and sisters, we only 3 years in to really good AI. In the next couple, if this continues, do you realize where we headed? I don't think y'all realize. And I keep mentioning to, the officers, the brothers, do not just share something just because it looks real. Back check and verify. But everything looks real now. With a very compelling voiceover, you're going to hear it on the screen. It's going to say, yes, and the Anunnakis were ancient people that came before the people of the earth. And you watching it and you're like, wait, how I learn about this? This must be real. Because it looks real, it sounds real. It's brain rot. You're rotting your brain. But again, back check to make sure what you're sharing is true. Don't share something because it came to your phone. Back check, because there's things out there that look highly real. Okay? They don't look like AI. Okay, good. So if there be any error in these people, we will overcome them. All right? Those that control technology, they understand they must get you to have errors in you and to believe something different, to go against the Lord's wisdom, to go against, and to be ultimately replace the Lord. So that now technology is now the Lord in your life. It's the go-to thing that you realize. How many of you, the first thing you do when you wake up, the first thing you do is check your phone? That's the Lord in your life. How about before you start your day to go to work, check your phone? And mind you, I ain't talking about checking your phone for scriptures or edification or anything that's coming through that you're looking to be edified by. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you got to check your phone, social media. You got to see what's on the web. You got to see what's happening on the internet. The first thing you do is check your phone. Then guess what that is in your life? You don't want to admit it. It's an idol. And many of you got to hear it the hard way. The internet is an idol in your life. And that's why, sadly, the Lord ain't really like working with you the way you would like him to, advancing you the way you would like him to, is because there's a part of you that's in idolatry that you may not realize. Okay, so consider it today that you're going to have to scale back. Scale back on the devices. Scale back. The first thing you do when you wake up, you pray. The second thing you do when you wake up, after you finish getting yourself together, you wake up early enough, you have something to eat, hit some scriptures. That shows what's the most important in your life. Hit some scriptures. As in, like, don't even go to the phone scriptures, man. Like, go to the book itself. Grab that book. Grab that book. And I know for some of the younger ones, they're going to be like, but no, General, it's easier for me to just grab the phone. Yeah, because you're so tethered to your phone. You're tethered to it, and so you just can't let it go, and it's just very connected to you. You understand? And thus, it continues. The madness continues. All right? So, whoever controls the voice controls the outcomes. All right? Let's move on. Let's go to Psalms chapter 12 and verse 2. All right? Because remember now, the other thing about it is this. When it comes to false speech and it spreading and false images and, remember the beast cause you to worship a false image. All right? These things spread through not only word of mouth, but it uses technology to spread these things. Psalms 12 and verse 2.
Reading from the book of Psalms, chapter 12 and verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
They speak vanity, every one with his neighbor.
They speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor.
With flattering lips.
With flattering lips.
And with a double heart.
With a double heart.
They do speak.
They do speak. So understand this. It says they speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor. Right? So what's one of the ways that falsehood spread? Everyone talking with each other. Like, for instance, if you ask a little child, which one is Jesus? Which one is the true image of Jesus? The black one on the left or the white one on the right? It will say in almost all cases, the white one on the right. How did it know that? Through propaganda, the spreading of information, the false info. So guess what? Even if you don't go to church, you will still believe that the white one is Jesus. Because you learned that as a child through what? Your granny telling that to you. Where did your granny learn that from? From her church and her, family telling her that this is Jesus. So understand that now today, what they use to spread the information, technology. And they get you to talk one to another false things by the use of technology. All right? Good. So it says, they speak with vanity, every one with his neighbor, and with flattering lips, and with a double heart, they do speak. Let's get Jeremiah 5 and verse 31. Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 31.
Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 31. The prophets prophesy falsely, and the priests bear rule by their means. And my people love to have it so.
My people love to have it so. So when it comes to lies, they succeed when people love the message. The lie works when people love the false message. It works. It's profitable. The lie works when it actually people, they just love falsehood. That's why these lies, they work. All right? And that's why the technology is so able and easy to just spread falsehoods, because people love lies. And they love things that are not true. And anything that's not true sounds sweet to the ears. It says, my people love to have it so. All right? Good. Let's get Daniel 12 and 4. Daniel 12 and verse 4. So write down these scriptures. All praises. Daniel 12 and verse 4. And you know what? When you first come into the truth, people will be mad at you for telling them the truth, but not mad at the person that told them the lie. They're mad at you for telling them that Christmas is pagan, Halloween is pagan, Mother's Day and Father's Day is pagan, birthdays is pagan, right? They're mad at you for telling them that, but they ain't mad at the person that told them that those things were actually something to do. Read Daniel 12 and verse 4.
Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book.
Seal the book. So he's talking about the prophecies. Seal the book, seal the prophecies, because certain prophecies are only meant to be revealed or broken down in a certain time. If they're not for that time, it's sealed up until that time. Read on.
Even to the time of the end.
Even till the end time. Read on.
Many shall run to and fro.
Uh-huh.
And knowledge shall be increased.
Knowledge shall be increased in the latter days, in the end time days. So now you see that there's different types of information. Okay, not only information about the truth, but subsequently it's going to be information also about the lie. The lie is going to spread like wildfire. Why? You have technology there to boost it, to send it out into the four corners just by the click of a switch. You turn on your laptop, you turn on your phone, you turn on your TV. Technology sends it out. So understand that the beast is interconnected through all those means. Okay? Technology is one of those arms of the beast. All right? So you have data, high-speed internet, information. All right? Or the overload of information, saturation of information, and the overload thereof. All right? Let's go back to Revelation 13. Let's pick it up at verse 16.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
Good. So now when technology gets to this point, where now commerce is now integrated. Now commerce is already integrated to a large degree when it comes to technology and commerce. You have it today, correct? You can go online and purchase something on your computer and have your card connected to your account, whether it's Amazon, Walmart. So finance and technology is connected currently right now. But when it gets to this point where technology and finance are now merged together as one, right now they're kind of separate and separated, but the end goal is to merge them together as one. So when that arm of the beast merges with that other, so now they become synonymous, technology and finance, where one cannot operate outside of the other. This is the end goal of where it's headed. Okay? So, what's going to happen is you're going to be mandated in order to do commerce, in order to do finance, you must have the technology aspect of it that would allow you to do commerce. you won't be able to do commerce without that part of technology. So right now, you could go into a store and pay cash. You don't need technology to buy something right now, correct? You could use physical money, right? But when it gets to this point, the technology and the finance will have merged together as one thing, where you cannot do one without the other. But I made mention in the beginning of the class that technology, in its primary essence, didn't come here to be of benefit to you. It came here to be of control to you. It's a form of control. Okay? And so once we already control, the higher ups already controlling the world with money, through money, and somewhat through technology. But the end game is to merge both of them, so now we have total control. That's the end game, total control. And it's just so ironic, Cap, that we have a class called Total Control, if you look back at our classes. So that is what they're looking for, total control. Let's get Luke 16 and verse 13. Luke 16 and verse 13.
Luke chapter 16 and verse 13. No servant can serve two masters.
No servant of the Most High, no servant of Yahushua the Christ can serve two masters. Read.
For either he will hate the one and love the other.
You will hate one and love the other. So, brothers, understand this. If you love money, you're not going to be a servant of the Lord. If you love money. I'm not saying not allow money to serve its purpose and do the things that we need it to do, provide for our families and also for the truth. But if you love money because you want to be rich, you're trying to be this mogul, you're trying to be, guess what? This truth is not for you. Because you're not going to put in your work for the Most High God. You're not going to put in your brick for Yahushua the Christ. You're going to be thinking and scheming and stay scheming, trying to get some more money. Right. That's going to be your mantra. That's going to be your motto. So you can't serve both. Let's get Ecclesiasticus 31 and verse 1. And guess what? Now, technology, everyone is selling someone when you go on, you hop on the internet, everyone's selling a course, right? How to be rich, how to be this, how to be that, how to be, they caught a lot of you with this, what you call it? It's like this Ponzi scheme, man. This Ponzi scheme, what you call it? Affiliate marketing, right? You could be, now this guy posing in front of a Lamborghini saying, why aren't you making money like me? And you're like, why aren't I making money like him? Listen to me. If you do what I did in just 4 short weeks, you gonna be making money just like me. And you're like, word? He got a Lambo. He in front of a big house. All rented, of course. All of it is rented. Airbnb, rented Lamborghini. But anything, I'm going to put y'all young brothers onto something early. Because y'all feel like because you made $1 or $2 from, what you call that? Trading, or we call it day trading. Or, yo, I know people who made thousands and listen to me. The people who made thousands and thousands is off of people who buying their courses. Persons who telling you could be rich like them if you just buy their course. You are the product. Bro, I made yeah, because he's selling courses to dummies who just and they come into the course and they're like wondering, well, it's been a year. How come I ain't make the brother telling you, man, it's because you ain't putting in that work, man. You ain't putting in that work like me. He's selling you the courses. And you think for a year of trading, you're going to be this millionaire? No, he's going to be the millionaire. Early. And technology has duped a lot of our people into thinking they're going to be millionaires because they got sweet dreams. Sweet dreams of being rich. But no man can serve two masters. Understand that? Read that. Ecclesiasticus 31 and verse 1.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 31 And verse 1. Watching for riches consumeth the flesh.
Oh, so when you're trying to be rich, it's going to do what?
Consumeth the flesh.
It's going to consume your flesh. Read on.
And the care thereof driveth away sleep.
Oh, so you're going to be up every night. I got to watch my money. I got to check my account. I got to see if 1 cent came off. Wait, what's this charge here? Oh, that was just the bank service charge. Whew. I thought somebody's stealing my money. Okay, let me take a 5-minute sleep. Wake up. Check my balance again. What's this? Oh, that was me. I did some shopping yesterday. Oh, whew. You're going to lose sleep because you know what's on your mind? Money and the love of money. You ain't thinking about spreading this truth across the world. You ain't thinking about going on mission trips with the brothers and bringing out this word. You're thinking about, I got to make more money. Read on.
Watching care will not let a man slumber. As a sore disease breaketh sleep.
You're going to lose a lot of sleep. You understand that? Read.
The rich hath great labor in gathering riches together. And when he resteth, he is filled with his delicates.
That's what he's filled with, his delicates. So a rich man is only concerned about his delicates. Don't fool yourself, Israel. Ask the Lord to make you comfortable enough to provide for your family and to also put finances into the truth. And that's it. If you're there good, trust me, you do the diligent things of the Lord, you stand a very strong chance to enter into the kingdom. If you're focusing on being rich, your focus is going to be on your delicates. The scriptures don't lie. When a rich man lay down at night, you think he's sleeping good rest? No. You know why? Okay, for instance, if Brother Daniel is a multi-billionaire, right? And he don't really have much friends, and then somebody tries to befriend him, what is he going to be thinking? Is this person actually befriending me to be a real friend? Or are they befriending me for what? My money and what I have. Billionaires aren't really like so jolly as you might think. You might think the answer to all of your world's problems is just to be a billionaire. Do you know billionaires are miserable? They're miserable. They don't know who really loves them. They don't know if the woman that's in their life just with them because they're trying to, take them to the cleaners one day and just take them for everything they got and the kitchen sink. Billionaires are very, very miserable. And as they say, more money, more problems. But I do agree when you do have, now, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying be poor. I'm not saying be poor, be a bum, be out here begging and no. I'm saying be comfortable enough to handle your responsibilities as a man in the truth, as a woman in the truth, but don't focus on being rich. Be comfortable so that you can provide for your household, provide for the truth, and let the Most High do the rest. All right? Good. Let's get Isaiah 5 and verse 20. Yeah, so technology wouldn't have you believe that being rich is the way to go, so that you replace your dependency on the Lord and now you're depending on technology to make you rich. Make you a rich man, a rich woman. Isaiah 5 and verse 20.
Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good.
Woe unto them that call evil good. Now remember, technology is something that kind of replaces the knowledge of God and makes you believe that now what you're seeing and learning from technology is good. So woe unto them that call evil good. Come on.
And good evil.
And good evil. And guess what? Even a very simplistic form, like I mentioned to the sisters earlier, if you go to a woman in the world and you tell her, listen, sister, using that rose and that vibrator is absolutely wrong, because the Bible says do not replace the natural use of a woman and the natural use of a man. If you tell her that's wrong, she would fight you tooth and nail and tell you it is right. But she's calling something that's evil, what? Good. Same thing for the incel brothers, or same thing for the brother that's just trying to be rich, or a brother will explain to you who's trying to be rich, every reason why it's okay to strive to be rich and not focus on the Lord and his mission. Right? Because they're calling good evil and evil good. Read on.
That put darkness for light.
You're putting darkness for light.
And light for darkness.
And light for darkness. So technology tries to replace God's light and replace it with a fabrication light, a replication light, so that you rely on technology. And when you get to that point where you fully rely on technology, when commerce or finance and technology merges together as one, guess what? You already looking at good as evil and evil as good, so you will accept it. You will accept whatever they're giving out for you to do commerce, because you will see technology as good, not evil. How many of you know that technology, right, at its heart, right, it's evil? How many of you know that? Like, I'm talking about the intent. I'm not talking about the things you can use it for. You can use it for good. But I'm talking about those who made it. They made it with evil intentions. How many of you know that? Only one person knows that? So you wait. Y'all thought when they made the internet. Let's go back. Who could tell me when they first made the internet? Who could tell me when? Don't tell me the late 90s. It was before that. That's what they told you. That's what they told you. But this precedes the 90s. Okay? It was during, which war was it? It was one of the wars where they needed to be able to tap into or transfer information from one network to a next, and thus the preliminary stages of what would be the internet was started. But it came from war. It came from war. What's that? Thank you. Is the Cold War? Good. What year was the Cold War? Let's look that up. 1947. They told. Now, it got more perfected around the 90s, having email and America Online and these different things and ICQ. But here's the thing. Originally, with the intent, they made it to transfer information during the Cold War. Okay? So don't think that it was made for your benefit, for you. No. The way they market it today is that it could be used for your benefit and sharing friends and family, and that it wasn't made with that intent. That's the lie that they dupe you with. Now, can you use it for good? Yes. We are using it for good right now on the live. Okay? But let's put it this way. We went to Isaiah 5:20. Whatever they bring on stream in the future, never dare you say, they did this for our good. They did this so we could have an ease of benefit in the future. They did this so that we could have either ease of transaction, ease of this, or ease. No, that's what they sell you on. It's not there for your benefit. It's not there for your sustenance. It's not there for your livelihood. Understand that. And when you could see it through that lens, anything that they're bringing on and they're mandating, you will reject it. Okay, let's get 2 Ezra 16 and verse 21. 2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse 21. So that's the propaganda that they sell you. That this internet is here to change your life. It is the best thing since sliced bread. Now, of course, you can do many amazing things with the internet. All right, many of us, we use our jobs, we use the internet. I need you to understand at the base of it, at the crux of it, it wasn't invented with good intentions. Go ahead.
2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth.
Read.
That they shall think themselves to be in good case.
Read.
And even then shall evils grow upon earth.
Evil shall grow upon the earth. Now, when victuals shall be so good upon the earth, the marketing propaganda that they will use, of course, it will be via the internet. All right. Everything when commerce and finance and technology merges, that arm of the beast is going to use technology to advance this prophecy right here. All right, when victuals shall be so cheap upon the earth. A lot of you are going to fall for the internet slogans, the internet campaigns, the internet. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. Even when they start pushing the translucent chip, they're going to have marketing campaigns pushed out on the internet. The songs that they make surrounding it is going to be pushed out on the internet. Many of you are going to love to hear those songs. You're going to set it as your ringtone. You're going to be listening to it every day. All right? Technology is the thing that's going to push these things. All right? So, and guess what? Normally, how you know today there's a sale happening? What's that? Technology. How you know? Listen, for those of you that know about VAT Day and all these different things, VAT Day sales, you've seen most of the sales pop up where? On your phone. How you know banks doing loans right now, Christmas loans? How you know? As you open up your internet, what you seeing pop up? This loan and that loan. Get a Christmas loan. Borrow $100,000 and no money down. Around Christmas time, what you seeing? I told my wife, listen, every time of year this time, they keep pushing these car commercials. Go get a new car. Go put yourself in debt. Go do this. Go do that. Go. And you're thinking to yourself, wait, babe, they just say pay only $5.99 on a brand new 2025 Grand Cherokee a month? $5.99? What they ain't telling you is that the interest is 500%. 500% interest. And you're going to be paying that for the next 139 months. Y'all saw that page where they was going around asking different people? How much months how much was your car? Woo, we got one for $50,000. Woo! How much months you in for? 625 months. Woo! And they're like, wait, what? You know how much 625 months is? That is, you're going to be paying that forever. That is crazy. Right? So, victuals, cheap on the earth. Technology is going to be used to boost and prop up these things. All right? Good. So, it's not going to be resistance. It's not going to be any alarms. It's going to be silent normalization. All right? Let's go back to Revelation 13 and verse 15. Revelation 13 and verse 15. Man, this technology, man. Woo. There's a lot of people who swear by it, eh? There's people who swear by technology and say, listen, this thing is the answer to life. It's the answer to everything. Revelation 13, verse 15.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Should be killed. All right? What does that mean? Should be killed. So when compliance fails, what happens now? And they enforce it, you die. So at first, what the compliance looks like is just everyone liking this technology. They think it's the best thing since sliced bread. So everyone silently complies. But then afterwards, there's going to be some people who don't comply. And because they don't comply, death will follow. It says, and would cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast, right, to be killed. All right, you already know what that image is. You already know how they push out the images through the media, through technology. If you don't accept that thing, you don't accept. Remember, the image causes you to worship what? Finance. If you're not worshiping finance, it means that you don't see the point in getting that thing. Because you don't love money like that, you don't worship money like that, so you won't get that thing. Right? You don't worship that. But if you do value money on that level, will you get it? You will get it. Absolutely. 100%. So now you understand. So by default, if you're not accepting even of Christianity, then more than likely you stand a good chance to not take that bioluminescent chip because you don't worship money. Right? And don't fool yourself. That doctrine of Christianity, it runs heavily on worshiping money. Okay? Let's get Daniel 7 and 25. Daniel 7 and verse 25.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
Great words against the Most High. Come on.
And shall wear out the saints.
And shall do what?
Wear out the saints of the Most High.
Wear out the saints of the Most High. So this is going into the persecution. This is going into the oppression. So it's not just for one time. Yes, we went through persecution before, but we're going to go through it again. When the saints are persecuted during this time when technology and finance merges together as one and the one cannot operate outside of the other, persecution is going to come because of it. And the saints of the Most High are going to be targeted. All right? So understand that. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 12. You should be familiar with this scripture. We went over it last class. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 12.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 12. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous.
Let us lie in wait for the righteous. So who is saying this? Those who are in control of these systems that are waiting to persecute God's children for not accepting their technology and not complying with it when that time comes. So it says, let us lie in wait for the righteous. Come on.
Because he is not for our turn.
He's not for our turn, meaning that their ways are opposed. Like the children of God's and keeping the commandments are opposed to those who, what do they worship? What do they worship? What do people who believe that technology is the best thing, what do they worship? What's that? The beast. They worship the beast and that arm of the beast as well, which is the technology. There's people right now, their faith is so much in the technology that you would tell them, listen, when that time comes, I'm going to keep God's laws and have faith, and they're going to watch you like, wait, what? So you're not going to give in to what the system say? No. You're not going to take that thing, that bioluminescent? No. So how are you going to eat? How are you going to feed your children? How are you going to pay for your house? How are you going to pay for your gas? How are you going to pay for your car? How are you going to pay your insurance? How are you going to pay your social security? How are you going to do all these things? They're watching you like, you got to be crazy. Right? But the reason for that is because he is not for our turn. So read it again.
Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous. Because he is not for our turn.
He's not for our turn, meaning that their way, the righteous ways are opposed to those who worship the beast, worship technology, worship the things that are against God. Come on.
And he is clean, contrary to our doings.
Contrary to our doings. Okay? They believe in technology as their God. They're contrary to those who keep God's commandments. Everyone gets it? Read on.
He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy the transgressings of our education.
Wow. So those who keep the law, right? They are directly opposed to those who worship technology, who believe more in technology and the beast system. That's what they believe. But you who believe in the law, they see you as, you're crazy. You believe in the law? Mm-mm. Read on. Read on.
Which verse was it?
Read to me verse 13.
He professeth to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord.
He professes. What does that mean? He speaks one thing, but his actions say differently. Technology would have you to believe that is the way to go. Technology would have you to believe, put your faith in that instead. When the beast system, merges with the finance system, and you must operate both of them in order to operate in society. If you go against it, right, persons will call you crazy. Persons will call you against you. You call you one of the loony bin. They will call you, oh, we got to call the psychiatrist for you. We got to put you in a straight jacket because you out here still talking about keeping God's laws when you need to feed your family. You understand that? Read on.
He was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us, even to behold.
Read.
For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion.
Read.
We are esteemed of him as counterfeits.
Read.
He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that God is his Father.
Wow. And this is the same thing that Christ came to do. Christ came to oppose all of these systems. Christ came showing that God being his Father, that's what he's going to be in tune to. Keeping these laws, being against these systems. You're supposed to do the same thing. You're not supposed to be giving into the system and what they're mandating. You're supposed to be against that. All right? Because they're juxtaposed and set opposed to what the Lord commands us to do. All right? Give me the book of Matthew 24 and verse 24. Matthew 24, verse 24.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 24. For there shall arise false Christs.
They're going to arise false Christs, come on.
And false prophets.
And false prophets.
And shall shew great signs and wonders.
Now, how many of you know that one of those great signs, false prophets, is also going into the technology? Because think of it this way. The great signs that you see technology doing, right? These miracles. Some of you can't even believe. Listen, I still can't believe, to be honest with you, that they could replicate humans and make humans like. Me and my wife was watching this thing the other day. My wife had to say, wait, babe, is that real? I was like, we got to check to see if it's real. We thought it was real. It looked real. These signs and wonders that technology can do is absolutely, I can't say it ain't impressive. It is. It kind of is. Y'all agree? It is impressive. That thing looked absolutely real. And you could ask technology, make a dog wearing a hat, walking on his hind legs, holding a baton, running down the road. And it will do it. And it will look real. AI, the power of that AI. But now, think of it this way. If you could make a dog holding a baton, walking on his hind legs in a video going down the road, think of what you can do with the information that goes against the Bible. Think of what you can create of white Jesus speaking words saying, my little children, I am here for all nations. My little children, just believe in me and have faith. The laws are done away with. Imagine seeing a video like that for people who already believe in Christianity. that Christianity is the way, and they see an AI video saying of white Jesus saying, my little children, you don't have to keep God's laws. Just believe in me. Come unto me, my little children. Man, people would eat that thing up. Technology has those, what you call, great signs and wonders. Read on.
Insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Even the very elect would be fooled, tricked, and deceived into thinking that these things are real when they're not. But it looks real. It looks convincing. It's very impressive. You understand, Brother Daniel? These images that you see when you scroll in the internet, a lot of them not real. Listen, they're doing whole commercials now with just pure AI. Like it looks like a real person coming on your TV and saying, you know, good morning. Did you ever think about the stomach aches that you've been having and da-da-da-da-da? Try this drug. And it's a whole AI ad. They could get the AI to say whatever they want to make it look however they want it to look. But now think about this. Think about even in the future. For those organizations that are teaching the truth and they're making AI replica videos of people who are in the truth saying some crazy stuff. People that who you believe and people who you trust and people who you would listen to when it comes to teaching, and they replicate them saying some wild stuff, and you're thinking to yourself, this is real, because this general wouldn't say this bishop wouldn't say that, and you believe it, but it's all AI, right? Even the very elect, if it were possible, they would be deceived. Let's get Romans 12 and verse 2. Romans 12 and verse 2.
Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So don't be conformed to this world. You got to separate yourself from this world. Yes, you live in the world, but you don't have to be off the world. You understand? You live in the world, but you don't have to be now conformed to it. It says be transformed, but you got to renew your mind. Understand the renewing of your mind also goes into you knowing that at the base level, technology was never made for your benefit. You can use technology to do things that you need to do for the Lord, right? But anything past that, it was not made for your benefit, for your livelihood, because most of the things that you're going to see on the internet is for your destruction, right? Good things don't really get propped up like that on the internet. A lot of bad things. And let me just say this for those of you that believe that, you know, views equal or popularity equals truth. That's not so. Popularity and views. Now, you're thinking because you see this channel over here got 900,000 views, Christian video, that has to be the truth. But then you see this other video over here, it only got 101 views. You tell yourself, that's the lie. That can't. Nobody watching that. That has to be the lie. You got to renew your mind. Renew the way you think. The Lord is always dealing with the minority. He said 2/3 are going to be destroyed and 1/3 will be saved. And what does that mean? More people. The crowd is going to be where the destruction is at. Okay? And the remnant or the small amount is going to be where the truth is at. It says, broad is the way to destruction. Large is the gate for destruction. You understand that? So don't think you're going to see a big, large contingent, a big, large number, because all the numbers point. When you see this YouTube video, oh, we got 500,000 views, 2 million views. A lot of things are just clickbait, falsehoods, lies, entertainment. But it says, my people love to have it so. That's what it says. God's people love to have it so. They love the lie. The lie is profitable. The lie will give you the views. The lie will give you the clicks. The lie will give you all of the, the click-through rates that give you high volume. Okay? But the truth is going to have little to no numbers. That's how the Lord set it. Right? So those of you that like vanity, it's causing you to stray away from your vanity and come into being part of what the Lord is doing, no matter what that number looks like. Let's be real. If tomorrow the Lord told you only 10 people in the world is going to be in his congregation, would you feel good being part of that 10? Or would you feel kind of like a little lonely, like there should be more people in this? For a lot of you who love numbers and who think that equates, godliness, a lot of you would choose the one with the numbers because with the more people. Why? Because you equate that to be what? The truth. Right. So it says renew what? Renew what? Well, you got to renew your mind. Stop thinking like that. Broad is the way to destruction. Okay? So, we're going to wrap up. Again, the beast, it doesn't begin with force. It begins with what? Silent acceptance, silent submission. Just, you just feel like this is the right thing. Technology is here for our benefit. It cannot do any wrong. One of my wife's friends, she said her aunt said that the government would never do anything that is like, harmful to us. What? Technology would never do anything that would harm us. That's what people really think. Okay, so it begins with people trusting technology. Okay? So what's normalized today, it's going to be mandated tomorrow. But for many of you, it's so normal to you, when they do mandate it, it will be just like a walk in the park. You're already so normalized and accustomed to it, you're going to give in to it when they mandate that thing. You understand that? So, we're going to end it there for today. All right? The technological arm of that beast, that image that speaks technology and the beast, understand how it works. It uses technology to be its mouthpiece, propaganda. All right, everything that you've been fashioned to believe, believe it or not, where you learned it from technology and the things that technology pushes out there. That's where you learned it from. That's how you know the things you know today. It was either told to you by someone who saw it somewhere, heard it somewhere. It came from the technology and the evil inventions that man made. All right? Good. So we're going to end it there today. All praises to the Most High. We want to say all praises, honor, glory to the Most High Yahweh in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. I have an announcement to make before we log off, though. Really quickly, for those of you that follow us and you're a part of TOC in the different regions that we are in, we're going to be launching Righteous Rubies of the Lord. Okay? Righteous Rubies of the Lord. And now, Righteous Rubies of the Lord, or also known as Righteous Rubies of Yahweh, it was developed to create a sense of pride and unity amongst the sisters in TOC. So this subgroup of TOC will be used as a means of collective edification based on the principles mentioned in the book of Titus chapter 2. And it's going to act as an avenue of righteous encouragement and examples to those learning and enduring in the truth, as well as onlookers who have yet to repent and come into the truth. All right, so Righteous Rubies of the Lord is going to be used as a promotional and marketing tool to encourage aspiring sisters to enter the fold and start keeping God's laws. All right. So, let me just read a scripture right here. All right. It says, "For in the day of redemption, the Lord will save those who he calls his precious stones and jewels, of which through being refined, the daughters of Zion would also become." Let me quote that scripture, book, chapter, and verse for you. All right. Precious stones and jewels. I just want to quote it so that those at home could write it down. I can't find it right now. I can't find it right now. But nonetheless, a directive is going to go out regarding that. Let me see if I can find it still, though. Let me see if I can find it. Just give me 1 second. Or a couple seconds. If anyone finds it before me, let me know. All right. "For in the day of redemption, the Lord will save those who he calls." It's just that when I wrote it down, I thought I wrote down the book, chapter, and verse. But I don't want to misrepresent the scripture. All right? I want to make sure I'm giving you the exact scripture of where it's from. I don't want to paraphrase where it's from. Okay, good. So that would be Isaiah 3 and verse 18. Again, Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 18. Could we read that? Yes, let's read that. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 18. Wait, it's not Isaiah 3 and 18. It's not. Because Isaiah. Give me a second. Malachi 3 and 17. Malachi 3 and 17. Try that one. Malachi 3 and 17.
Malachi chapter 3 and verse 17. "And they shall be mine, said the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make out my jewels, and I will spare them, as a man spareth his own son that serveth him."
So the Lord, when it comes to his jewels, all right, he has jewels. So this initiative that we're about to start, the righteous rubies of the Lord, all right, again, is going to be used as a promotional and marketing tool to encourage aspiring righteous sisters to enter the fold and start keeping God's laws. All right. So sisters, it's time to show up and show out. All right. Righteous rubies of the Lord. All right. So it's going to have its own page. It's going to have its own marketing material. It's going to have, all right, the Sisters of TOC. All right, in all of the regions where we reside. All right, sisters showing good works, sisters showing that they're keeping the commandments, the laws. All right, and we're going to be pushing a lot of those images and visuals to encourage other sisters to come into the fold. All praises. So, brothers, mention it to your wives, soldiers, officers, everybody, general as well. All right, to all the wives, all the TOC wives and sisters. Even if you're not a wife, you're a sister. All right, you are a young woman, a young lady, a young sister. Righteous rubies of the Lord. All right, righteous rubies of Yahweh. All praises. So with that, we're going to close out, and don't forget to give your donations, your alms, your offerings. All right, the description is in the description bar below, whether you're overseas or you're local. All right, we have the Passover coming up. Okay, the Passover is coming up in March. Prepare yourselves for that. All right, we're looking forward to an amazing Passover. All praises. Prior to that, we got the new moon coming up on January 5th. Okay, so if you want to know how you could keep these feast days with us, send us an email at tocisraelites@gmail.com. All right, send us an email or reach out, okay, so you can know how to keep these feast days with us. All praises. So with that, we're going to close out. Most High in Christ bless. Stay in the spirit. Continue enjoying your day. Blessings to you and your family. Shalom.